Greeting classmates from PE 570. This is Roberto Aguilar here. So for the discussion on based on parental involvement in athletics, some things that I learned from this film is pretty quite simple. Communication with the parents. It is a huge deal to communicate to the parents at all times. Um, so this film talks so much about um, lawsuits and suing based on parental decisions, mainly because of what their sons got or didn't get. So it's very important to know how can we as coaches communicate to the parents at all times so that we can avoid these lawsuits, so that we can avoid these type of situations. The key points are simple: learn how to communicate, learn how to deliver the reasons as to why things didn't happen. So, for example, in the beginning, I talked a little bit about why a certain player did not get to the NBA or did not get enough playing time, and that's because they said the coach play favorites. That the coach knew the father of one of the players in his golf league, so he decided to play him first. You know, and that was quite simple. Why didn't the coach communicate that to either the player, the parents, or anybody? So the lawsuit comes based on what happens, what the coach fails to do, and that takes a whole toll on the coach. Also, when some of the things that happened when the coach didn't let one of the players um, get enough of that time, of that playing time, it's just simply just that aspect that can cause them to have a lawsuit or any type of suing. And like they say, one of the biggest um, problems right now in athletics is not the sport, and it's not even popular anymore. It's just lawsuits that are beginning to happen left and right towards all the coaches, and there's simple things that the coaches can do to prevent them, but are failing to do. So, one of those important key points is that learning how to communicate, learning how to express themselves, learning how to deliver the key points as to why the certain events are happening. Um, that one parent that said that his son was overstrained and too tired because he was pitching so much. You see, the coach should have talked to the parent first and said, "What's going on with the kid?" You know, talk to the kid, ask the kid not just to keep throwing but or keep playing, but ask him how he's feeling, ask him if he needs any attention. That's the communication that can happen with either one that would have prevent that lawsuit. So it's very important to know how we as coaches can continue doing. So some of the changes that I feel that I might consider is speaking to the athlete and speaking to the parents based on what the athlete tells me, because it's very important to know and to write those things down to prevent any lawsuits like that. Saying, for example, if one of our players is tired of throwing the football, I gotta ask him all continuously, how are you feeling? Do you need to take some reps off? Do you need to rest? Do you need to ice? Anything that will allow the student to rest his arm and not put so much pressure on it. Because if the parents feel that, hey, the coach is telling me to keep throwing and keep throwing and keep throwing, they might think that it's because of him that the quarterback is getting injured. We got to prevent that by letting the player know that he could take time off if he needs to, and communicating that to the parents so that they know that this is going on with the child. You know, and that's one of the important aspects that I feel that I can change in my coaching profession, because a lot of these things they put me into awareness that at any given moment, me personally as a coach can get a lawsuit. Even though I feel I may not be doing anything wrong, anything can happen at any time with just the smallest aspect. And some suggestions that I have for coaches on the field is simply communicate at all time. Talk to the parents. Let them in on some of the meetings that you have with their players, and schedule one-on-ones with the athlete as well, and communicates those same things to the parents. Write them down, put them in a file, so that anytime one of those situations could come up, you have the evidence that you talk to the child. Prevent anything that's preventable, because at any time, any given moment, lawsuits can happen, and that is one of the things you want to avoid, especially with parents. As it says, lawsuits are actually the biggest sport now, because it can happen at any time, and we want to prevent that. In modern time, it's happening so much that these things are preventable from the beginning, but it's just a matter of the coach taking action. So this is my response to this discussion. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to hearing every single one of you guys, and God bless.